I don't know if I am or not. I don't want to be the person I was, but I don't know. Change comes in time. Change comes really in time. You're irritating me now.
Mike Tyson's fists weren't the only weapons in his arsenal. His hatred burned even hotter than his punches. The baddest man on the planet didn't just destroy opponents in the ring.
It's a lot. We've been wondering, a straight right.
He carried grudges that would consume him for years, sometimes decades.
When it comes to my field, I'm the best, and there's no one that can even compete. So why would you say this? There's no one to compete.
Tonight, we're diving deep into the dark psychology of Iron Mike's most personal vendettas, the boxers who didn't just face his fury, but became the targets of his obsession. From press conference brawls that shocked the world to alleged death threats that had security running.
He's over there laughing. We're up here laughing. Everybody laughing. This is serious stuff. He won't be laughing Friday. This is very serious.
These weren't just professional rivalries. They were personal wars that tore at Tyson's very soul. We've got insider stories from training camps, alleged quotes that were never meant to go public, and the behind-the-scenes drama that the cameras never caught. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared you for number one on this list. The hatred was so intense, so consuming, that it literally changed the course of boxing history and destroyed what could have been the greatest career ever. This is the boxer who didn't just beat Mike Tyson. He broke something inside him that never fully healed. So buckle up, because we're about to expose the 6 boxers who didn't just step into the ring with Iron Mike. They stepped into his nightmares and became the ghosts that would haunt him forever. At number 6, we have the man who turned Mike Tyson into a raging animal on live television, Lennox Lewis. Now, you might think their hatred started in the ring, but you'd be dead wrong. This psychological warfare began long before they ever traded punches, and it cut deeper than any physical blow ever could. The British heavyweight represented everything Tyson despised. Calm, calculated, and worst of all, genuinely confident without the bravado. While Tyson built his reputation on intimidation and fear, Lewis seemed completely immune to the Tyson mystique. Sources close to Tyson's camp allege that this drove Iron Mike absolutely insane during the build-up to their eventual showdown. But the moment that truly revealed the depth of Tyson's hatred came during that infamous 2002 press conference in New York. When Lewis made a comment about Tyson being past his prime, something inside Iron Mike just snapped. The result? Pure chaos. Tyson launched himself across the stage, throwing punches while screaming threats that shocked even seasoned boxing reporters. The quote that still sends chills down people's spines? Tyson's alleged words to Lewis during the melee: "I want to eat his children." This wasn't trash talk. This was a man whose hatred had consumed his rationality. Insiders claim Tyson had been obsessing over Lewis for months, studying tapes not to find weaknesses, but to fuel his rage. The psychological damage was already done before they ever stepped into the ring. Lewis had gotten under Tyson's skin in a way that few fighters ever managed, proving that sometimes the mental warfare hurts more than any physical beating ever could. 5. Michael Spinx.
Mike, Francois both a 6-1 underdog. Are there any concerns on your part?
I don't know anything about that. I don't know nothing about numbers. I just know what I can do.
How about
Kill this mother.
Coming in at number 5 is Michael Spinx. And let me tell you, this wasn't just professional rivalry. This was personal vendetta that consumed Tyson's every waking moment. See, Spinx held the IBF heavyweight title when Tyson was steamrolling through the division, and in Iron Mike's mind, there was only room for one undisputed champion. But Spinx wasn't just holding up unification. He was allegedly making comments that questioned whether Tyson was even ready for a real champion. Sources from Tyson's Catskill training camp paint a disturbing picture of obsession. Allegedly, Tyson would watch Spinx fight tapes for hours, not studying technique, but building rage. Mike would get so worked up watching Michael that he'd start throwing punches at the screen, one former sparring partner claimed. He'd be talking to himself, saying things like, "I'm gonna end this fake champion." The hatred intensified when Spinx allegedly told reporters that Tyson was all hype and no substance. Those words reportedly sent Tyson into training sessions so brutal that even his own team was concerned. Cus D'Amato's influence was still strong, but this wasn't tactical preparation. This was pure vengeance conditioning. When they finally met in Atlantic City in June 1988, Tyson didn't just want to win, he wanted to humiliate. The result? 91 seconds of absolute destruction. But here's what the cameras didn't catch allegedly. Tyson stood over the unconscious Spinx and muttered words that ringside officials refuse to repeat to this day. Even decades later, Tyson has allegedly told close friends that the Spinx knockout wasn't just his greatest performance, it was his most satisfying revenge. The unification blocker had been permanently removed, and Tyson's hatred had found its most explosive outlet. At number 4, we have the man who didn't just defeat Mike Tyson. He shattered the myth, the mystique, and allegedly, Iron Mike's soul. Buster Douglas.
I lost that because I did this or that. I lost because I didn't have interest or something. Or I didn't, I underestimated somebody.
The 42-1 underdog who pulled off what many still call the greatest upset in sports history. But what happened after that fateful night in Tokyo reveals a hatred so deep, so consuming, that it allegedly drove Tyson to question everything he believed about himself. The night of February 11th, 1990, wasn't supposed to go down like this. Tyson was invincible, unstoppable, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Douglas was supposed to be another highlight reel knockout, another step toward Tyson's inevitable dominance. But when Douglas got up from that devastating uppercut in the 8th round, something broke inside Tyson that night. And it wasn't just his undefeated record. Insiders from Tyson's camp alleged that Iron Mike became obsessed with the idea that Douglas had somehow cheated fate. Mike couldn't accept that he lost fair and square, a former trainer allegedly revealed. He kept saying Douglas got lucky, that the count was slow, that everything was rigged against him. The excuses became conspiracy theories, and the conspiracy theories became an all-consuming hatred. But here's where it gets really dark. Sources close to Tyson claim he would allegedly watch the Douglas fight repeatedly, not to learn from his mistakes, but to fuel his rage. The hatred wasn't just about losing, it was about losing his identity. Douglas hadn't just taken his titles, he'd taken his invincibility, his fear factor, his entire psychological advantage. The most disturbing part? Tyson allegedly told confidants that he fantasized about a rematch not to reclaim his titles, but to destroy the man who destroyed me. This wasn't about boxing anymore. This was about revenge against the ultimate betrayal. At number 3, we dive into one of the most underrated feuds in boxing history, Mike Tyson versus Donovan Ruddock. Now, most casual fans remember their two brutal wars in 1991, but what they don't know is the psychological hatred that made these fights so vicious. This wasn't just about determining a number 1 contender, this was about respect. And in Tyson's twisted world, Ruddock had committed the ultimate sin. He refused to be intimidated.
What happened then? He was just, Buster Douglas just fought a great fight. He just fought a great fight, and when you realize in life is about loss. You know what I mean? Nobody leaves this planet a winner. You know, as we get older, we lose our hair, we lose people we love.
The bad blood allegedly started months before their first fight, when Ruddock made comments to Canadian media that cut Tyson to his core. "Mike's been fighting tomato cans and old men," Ruddock reportedly said. "When he faces a real fighter like me, we'll see what he's really made of." Those words allegedly sent Tyson into such a rage that his own team had to calm him down during a training session. But what really drove Tyson insane was Ruddock's attitude. Sources from both camps claim that during the pre-fight buildup, Ruddock would deliberately yawn during Tyson's intimidation stare-downs. Can you imagine? Here's Iron Mike, trying to mentally destroy his opponent before the first bell, and Ruddock is acting bored. One insider allegedly heard Tyson mutter, "I'm gonna make this Canadian bleed for disrespecting me." Their first fight on March 18, 1991, became a war of attrition, but it was the controversial ending that really ignited Tyson's hatred. When referee Richard Steele stopped the fight in the 7th round after Tyson dropped Ruddock, the Canadian was still trying to get up. Ruddock's team immediately protested, claiming their fighter was robbed, but it was Ruddock's alleged post-fight comments that pushed Tyson over the edge. "I wasn't hurt. The referee saved Tyson from getting knocked out." The rematch became personal vendetta. Tyson allegedly told his corner, "I'm not just gonna beat him, I'm gonna break his spirit for what he said about me." Number 2 is Frank Bruno, and this hatred might surprise you, because on the surface, these two seemed friendly. But behind the smiles and public handshakes was a resentment so deep that it allegedly ate away at Tyson for years. Bruno represented everything Tyson despised about the boxing media machine. He was the lovable underdog, the gentleman fighter, the man who could lose and still be more popular than the champion. The British heavyweight's popularity in the UK and America allegedly drove Tyson absolutely crazy. Sources close to Tyson's camp claim Iron Mike would rant about how Bruno got positive press coverage even when he lost, while Tyson was portrayed as a monster even when he won. Mike couldn't understand why people loved Frank more than him, one former associate allegedly revealed. It wasn't about boxing ability, it was about being liked. The fake friendship facade allegedly cracked during their 1996 fight buildup. While Bruno played the respectful challenger in public, insiders claim Tyson was seething behind the scenes. "Frank's whole nice guy act makes me sick," Tyson allegedly told his team. "He's fake, and I'm gonna expose him." When Tyson destroyed Bruno in 3 rounds, it wasn't just about retaining his title, it was about destroying the media darling. The most disturbing part? Sources claim that after the knockout, Tyson allegedly stood over Bruno and whispered, "Not so lovable now, are you?" Even years later, Tyson has allegedly made comments suggesting his hatred for Bruno had nothing to do with boxing and everything to do with jealousy over public perception. At number 1, the hatred that consumed Mike Tyson's soul and changed boxing forever, Evander Holyfield.
I'm sorry, Evander. It's your ear.
This wasn't just a rivalry. This was a psychological war that drove one of the greatest fighters in history to commit the most infamous act in sports. The headbutt accusations, the religious undertones, the personal animosity. This feud had everything, and it destroyed what was left of Tyson's career. The hatred began with what Tyson perceived as dirty fighting. During their first encounter in 1996, Tyson became convinced that Holyfield was deliberately headbutting him. Sources claim Tyson was screaming at referee Mitch Halpern between rounds, "He's butting me! He's butting me!" But when nothing was done, something inside Tyson snapped permanently. The religious angle made it worse. Holyfield's born-again Christian persona allegedly infuriated Tyson, who saw it as self-righteous hypocrisy. "How can you headbutt someone then pray about it?" Tyson allegedly asked his corner. The contrast between Holyfield's holy image and what Tyson perceived as dirty tactics created a hatred unlike anything we'd seen before. Then came June 28, 1997, the bite heard around the world. In the 3rd round of their rematch, Tyson's hatred reached its climax. The ear bite wasn't a momentary lapse. It was the culmination of obsessive rage. After the fight was stopped, Tyson allegedly screamed at Holyfield, "I'll kill you! You headbutted me again." The most chilling part? Years later, Tyson allegedly told confidants that he doesn't regret biting Holyfield's ear. He regrets not biting it off completely. This hatred consumed his career, his legacy, and his soul. And there you have it. The 6 boxers who didn't just face Mike Tyson's fists, but became the objects of his most destructive hatred. These feuds shaped boxing history and destroyed careers. What do you think? Did we miss anyone? Smash that like button, drop your thoughts below, and subscribe for more boxing drama.